Good evening, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mike. How's work today? Mr. Collins, good evening. How's work today? Yeah, thank you so much. And I think Mr. Mike, I don't know whether he's still available now, but I think he moved. And Mr. K is not yet around. So, let me first of all address the issue of the video I put down. Are you with me, sirs? You can imagine now. And when the class is singing, I will not take that question again. No. That's why I told them that I'm going to address everything when the class start today. But there's no problem. I think because the video have been on for that more than 1 month, everybody's supposed to be able to work to download it then. So that's not the problem. But let me move to our next topic today. So the topic I want us to look at today after our last activity, because last activity we talk about how we can be able to create a layout by using div. So we said that we can design our own custom layout with our HTML page by make use of the div from the from the beginning to the end. And that is exactly what we did in the last class, which we able use to create this particular page here now. That is it. But the most important thing we want to now look at today now is a bootstrap, because after this I want us to move to the JavaScript part. Is a bootstrap. We want us to look at what the bootstrap is and how you can be able to make use of the bootstrap, take advantage of the or the benefit of the bootstrap to redesign our website too. But first and foremost now, when we talk about the bootstrap is nothing less than what you can refer to as a library of the library of HTML. Bootstrap is referred to as a JavaScript library or framework library, and that library mean it contain already written code you can use to design our HTML page, and that's what the bootstrap is. And when we look at the bootstrap is a code that contain HTML dey already written, CSS dey already written, including the JavaScript, which is a jQuery. That mean dey already create a different type of the HTML user interface. Those interface already have CSS and JavaScript with it, and that's why here I can see a bootstrap is a powerful front end framework for faster and easier web development. It include the use of HTML, CSS based plugin template. It's a CSS based design template for creating a common user interface. Not that we use it to create all the interface, but they use it to create some common user interface like form, button, navigation, drop down, alert, mode, tab and border and carousel. All these are some of the common interface people see. Even though including the different type of the layout. If you want to create something like a detail page, there's a bootstrap a component that can give you the layout for a detail page. For any type of the layout you want to create, there's a bootstrap a bootstrap interface for it. And this bootstrap is already written HTML and CSS and JavaScript. So what user just need to do is to take advantage of this one to start design their own interface. But using bootstrap does not mean you are not going to write your own code or you are not going to write your own CSS. You still need to understand the CSS and how to write your HTML page. That is it. Because you have to use different type of the component in the bootstrap to put it together to create your own user interface. Like for example now, there is no already designed login page in the bootstrap. There's just a form and some other information you can put together that can be able to design that login page. And bootstrap also make it easy for us to create what we call a responsive website layout, because most of the layout that are already available in the bootstrap support responsive. Responsive is the ability of a website to adapt to different type of the device, mobile phone and laptop and the tab, without losing its creativity or flexibility. So there are so many advantage of what you can use bootstrap. Some of dis now, you can easily create a responsive website with bootstrap. You can create a multi-column layout with a bootstrap with already predefined classes. You can create a different type of the navigation with the bootstrap already prepared for us, and there are different type of the form layout too. Even though you can also create something like what accordion modal without need to write any JavaScript or code, including the dynamic tab that can support what large amount of content. We want to create a project, a product page whereby you want to specify the different type of the category. Dynamic tab make it more easier. Or you want to create something like a carousel that can be able to wear as image slider to showcase the different type of the content. This one require what a JavaScript, but with the bootstrap all these are make work much more easier. That is it. So if you are going to implement a bootstrap on our website now, let me start from there. I'm going to prepare a new folder that I'm going to be using for the bootstrap on this our website here now. So I'm going to create a new folder, so I can call it what bootstrap perfume, bootstrap perfume now, bootstrap, okay, bootstrap underscore one princess perfume. Okay, that is it. So after that again, I can now open this particular page in my Visual Studio Code, because whatever I want to create now, they are going to be inside that particular web page. So here I go now, I click on the file to open a new folder I'm just using for this site again here now. Okay, here is it. I click on select folder. So right here now, the folder is now open. So all our design now is going to be what? To be right inside this particular new folder we just prepare here now. That is it. So to add the bootstrap now, to make it more easier, we are going to follow some of the guidelines, because it is what? It contain a different type of the how can we set up our website to take advantage of the or the bootstrap now. So number one is that for us to start the bootstrap with our website, we have to make sure we add the bootstrap part to our website now. That is one thing. For us to create a bootstrap, we have to add the bootstrap part to our website. And this bootstrap part is going to be official website that they already have all the CSS and the HTML tag, and also the the JavaScript code already written. So now to do that again, this is what we need to do when we are creating our HTML page, just like the one we have here now. This is a new HTML page. Let me copy this one. Our first index page is this, and I put it inside my new HTML file I'm creating here now. So I'm going to call the HTML file index.html here now. So in this file, I paste this information here now. So this is my basic HTML file, which I want to add the bootstrap to it. You get now. But there must be some meta information like a viewport. The meta information must have a viewport. Viewport allow this particular page to be responsive, to be able to adjust a different type of the device. That is one. And second one now is that I need to now specify the location where all my bootstrap code is going to coming from. We can download there are two ways to achieve that again. Number one, we can download the bootstrap library file from the official bootstrap website and create a folder and put those bootstrap code inside this our website folder here. You get now, just like you create the CSS folder now, you can create another folder called CSS. In the CSS, you can now have a bootstrap. So all the bootstrap file we needed can be downloaded from bootstrap official website. That's number one. But the second one is to use what you call a CDN, which is a content delivery network. Using the CDN have one advantage, simply because anytime a particular bootstrap is being updated, we are going to have the updated of that bootstrap code instantly, because bootstrap also make the loading of the bootstrap file, make it more faster. So using this CDN mean we are going to directly reference the bootstrap official part on the on our website again. And if you are going to do that again, we need to do it by make sure that we add this particular code to our head section of our HTML page. Just like this one you have here now. This is your official website where the bootstrap part is. So I can copy this code and also return back to my Visual Studio Code and paste it here. Bootstrap we are adding now contains us two important files. The first one is CSS that is available on this particular part, while the second one is the JavaScript file. This part we are referencing now online here now. This is the main file we are looking for there. Bootstrap.css. This is the file that we are targeting. You get it now? That is it. You get it? And secondly is the second type of file we need to have before you can take advantage of the Bootstrap is a JavaScript file. And that JavaScript file can be added to the body section. And to do that again, we reference the JavaScript file again here too. That's the JavaScript bundle. So I can select this file here too to the end again, and then copy it again and return to this my page. Your JavaScript must be inside the body, but it's better you allow it to be added to the end of the body tag here now, and that is it. So doing this one now mean that this particular page is now bootstrap ready, because for whatever bootstrap I'm going to be added to this particular page again, the CSS those particular bootstrap is going to be using available inside the bootstrap link I specify here, while the JavaScript too also available here. From there now, I can now start adding any information to this particular page. So let me take the title for this page and name it as using bootstrap. Okay, that is it. And the information here now, I'm going to change it from this hello I'm changing it to getting started. Okay, let me say getting started with bootstrap too. So once I've done this information now, it means my site is now ready for bootstrap. If I save this particular HTML page and I preview it here now, you can see this is what I'm going to see. It still remains the normal HTML response output here. Do you get it now? That is it. Now, this is the preparing our page for the bootstrap, and this is not the where the main works start from now. The section where the main work start from. Okay, sorry, I want to call the setting up here. File and setting. The reference setting on the 24. I want to do it to 18. Okay, that's it now. Okay, so I'm just reading this page. So now, for us to start applying different types of bootstrap, like I said, a bootstrap is already written HTML and CSS code and JavaScript that can be take advantage of it to build our user interface. But before you can be able to use some of those particular library, you have to prepare your HTML page to contain this particular the part where those library CSS code is coming from and where the JavaScript is coming from. Once that is done good, you can now return back to the bootstrap page here now. These are the different type of the different company available on the bootstrap. For us to design a bootstrap table, this is a bootstrap here now. For us to create a list, this is a bootstrap code. We are seeing a lot of bootstrap code to create a bootstrap table here. We are seeing a lot of bootstrap button here. For example now, let me start from introducing this button. When I open this particular bootstrap button here now, you can see the guideline for the use bootstrap button already created here now. So this bootstrap button is contain HTML code, the type is button, and already written CSS which is called button btn primary, button bn secondary. All these are the different type of the CSS they already written for this. So you have to choose which of this particular button match a particular design you want. If none of them match it, then you can now create your own button tag and write a CSS for your own button. And that one of the reason why that one we need to first learn how you can be able to write our own custom word CSS, because you might need to even do write more CSS to change this button to something more better than what you want apart from this. So all the button you see here now, these are what the different type of the effect they are going to what to return. For example now, if you create a button you want to give something like a warning, you can use color yellow here, I mean orange color here. If it's something like deleting or something is going to be doing, you can use what danger. And if you are going to say to implement as success, you can use a green here now, but it can also be changed. So apart from using this particular word button, there are still some other word user interface you can create from here, starting from the bootstrap for list, for table, for images, for icons, for navbar, for carousel and so on like that. But in this class we are going to look at few of those particular one bootstrap to be able to see how you can apply to our website, and we are still going to look at the one the bootstrap for the grid system and the container. For any layout you want to design, the first particular one information you need to do is to put up a bootstrap container on your web page, so that one going to be a container for all other one bootstrap you are going to be using. But first and foremost, let's see the bootstrap button here now. As I said, I can copy this particular two button here. If it is this button I want to use here, and I return back to my one page here now, and after this getting work started, I can add these two button here now. So that is it. So once you add the bootstrap button, the task you need to do is very simple. Is to now what message you want your bootstrap button to do here. I want this one to be what getting what get started. That is it. And the second one too, I want to say what also name it as well as get what started. You can see these are the already made bootstrap button. Let me now create another button of my own that's not a bootstrap here now, and I call it button here. And when I close it, I say well get started again. So I want us to see the difference between the button without bootstrap and the one with the bootstrap we already have here. So once I save this page, so this is going to be what I get. You can see the first button here, this did not have a bootstrap. You can now see the second button here with the bootstrap. The color effect has been changed here. That is just it. So these are the what we talk about. So if you are designing your own interface now, you can now decide that well which of these two buttons you want to use. Is it blue or grey one? So you can decide it. So any of those particular buttons they are available for us to use. Most of the people sometimes they use bootstrap to first prepare the interface for their a template for their website. They put everything together, create a template for their website, then they will now start creating the remaining page from that particular template. But we are going to be learning how to be able to add different type of this particular bootstrap to our website. But before we start again, look at the last page we created, which is this particular contact us page. I want us to see if you can use a bootstrap to design the same page wall like this here now. That's what I want us to do with this particular layout. And for your information, if you look at top section here now, this is going to be like 4 column. Remember we have to be writing our div to create this column. Bootstrap is already having a lot of grid control we can use for this. You get it now. So to start that one now, I have to start taking advantage of the of the grid system in Bootstrap to prepare my layout here. So when I open this particular page, or before I open it again, let me draw the sketch I want us to prepare here now. So our main container is going to be this particular black color here now for the page you want to create. While this particular red now represent the first top row here with 4 column, column 1, column 2, column 3 and column 4. And the second one here represent the second row with 2 column. The column here for logo, the column here for for the navigation. That is it. And after that again, we also have another row again. That is for the page header. And here now the row for the for the page header here. And after the row for the page header, we are having 2 column okay again. So the column we are going to have here So I'm now creating a two column page here now. So we have two column here, section. And after the two column again, so after the two column again, there's still going to be another one column here now. So we have another row here that contain about 4 row for contact address detail. Column 1, column 2, column 3 and 4. And this row here is now for what? For a section we refer to as a newsletter. And last row here is one that represents our what? Our footer. Remember, this is footer, this is newsletter, and this for the what? Address, email, phone number, and social media. This contain a form. We are going to see a bootstrap form, and this contain a Google map here now. While this is a page title, and here is the logo, and here for the address. So now, this first thing we are going to do now is we are going to look at the internet is happening this evening now. Recording in progress. So we are going to look at different type of the grid system for the layout which you want to start preparing now. Because when you are preparing a layout, remember your layout to be in a different column. Okay, so writing, oh god, this is not coming up. Okay, so oh, so now bootstrap grid system is able to be able to create a fast and easy way of creating a responsive website. Any of the layout you are using there, remember, is already support for responsiveness. So now, and when we are creating a layout, there are different type of of grid column you can create. First thing, you can see this one now. This already prepare a layout for us to have a two column like this one here now. If you want two column, that means first column you go to second column go to BC. You can have 6 column, you can have 12 column in total in a single div row here, and this is a container already created for us. So for whatever type of column you want to create, you can apply this particular container to it. You can now dividing your column into different type of the ratio you want. Just make sure they are not more than 12. 6 plus 6 here become 12. 8 plus 4 here now making 12. 9 plus 3 now making 12. Any combination depend on how you want each of them to be different. Let's say I'm copying this one here now to have an idea of what we are talking about. I copy this layer, I'm now putting it inside this particular content which I want to start using my bootstrap. So all this particular message, I have to first comment them out now, since we are not going to use them for now. So that's it. So once I comment them out, then I can now apply the div that go to represent my container here now. And don't forget the alignment we also talk about here now. This is second row here, and here is the third row here now. And here now, this is my div for this container now. Now listen carefully. If I save this particular page and I preview it again, you get it now. This is exactly what we are going to see. We are going to see all this particular column here, but by default bootstrap did not reveal their border to be able to have an idea of how each of this particular column, the area they cover. Do you get now? And that's why that we have to write our own CSS to apply the border to each of the div the bootstrap used for for our different type of layout here now. And you can also specify the height and the width. Do you get now? Because all this particular column, the more information you add to them, the more the size will increase. But first thing is this now, we need to first reveal the border for this one. So to do that again, there's need for us to create our own CSS file. And I'm creating a new folder now. I call it a CSS here. And inside this particular folder, I will now create a new CSS file. I call it style dot .css. That is it now. And this file must be referenced inside this particular page again. That's why I say that apart from your own bootstrap CSS, you can still create your own CSS again. This is a comment now to show that custom, yeah, CSS now. So that will know the difference. And to apply my custom CSS again, so this is going to contain this tag again. Link, what's wrong with this? Link tag href equal CSS, yes, style. That's it. And followed by what? Relative equal style sheet. That is it now. And with that, okay, I can say type equal css slash test test slash css. That is it now. So once this is defined, I can now close it. So here now I'm specifying my own my own custom css now. It is in this file I'm going to write the a css code. I'm going to review the border for each of these. So I can return back here and I now call this one and say border. So now name it border here now, and then I'm going to be class, don't forget. So dot border. Okay, so that's what I want to do. Or depend on if the border I want to use now is going to be applied to everything, I think it is better. But let me say I'm creating for the border here now. I can say border okay now, so border 1 pixel and a solid in color, and maybe I want to use the black to represent the color here now, and that is it here. So then I can now return back and apply this class to the all the div I have inside there now. Even though I can apply it to the container, let me apply it to the first row here now. So since they already a div for row here now, so I can apply border to it now. Okay, class class equal to border again. So once I save this and preview it again, you can see the border line here now that surround this particular left box. Maybe I want to change the color to what you can see properly now. And CSS here, I say color here, maybe it should be green now. Okay, I want to be green 009900. Okay, so I save it again here now, and this is exactly what we are going to see. Is that page safe? Yeah, safe now. I want to make it 5 pixel. Maybe we can see very well now. Can you see? That is it. You get now. So, and this one can also be reduced if 5 pixel is too much than 1 pixel. So this one show the border line around this particular one. So the same thing can be reviewed for each of the column here now. If I want to see the border for this for the column, after this another CSS rule can be here. After this another one can be here again. This was not telling us the border for this. You get it now. So the same thing can be applied to to the rest here now. As I save this page again, you can see the columns. The column is so small here and fade, and CSS file here 1 pixel. Okay now, so maybe I said 2, but we can see set the border up later. So you can see this one now. So you can now see there are 2 different column here now. That is it. So we can write CSS to increase. What if I want to increase the height for this again? Your CSS determine that again. Maybe for that again, I can come down and say height, and that is going to be or maybe 200 pixel. Adjustment can be done too, and return it back. You can see the height again. That is it. So normally by default, the CSS, the bootstrap here create this column for all. But we are the one we are now going to start determine that how many number of column we want. But based on this our layout here, you say you want 4 column for the upper wall section here now. Even though we can define the size for each column, if you want the one column to be apart from this number we have here, but since you want the 4 equal column here, I can return back to here now and now define the column to what? 4 4 4, and this is going to be no 3 3, and this two will be 3, and at the same time I cannot duplicate this particular row because there's going to be a need for 4 different rows here for each information, and later each of them can also be what? Be modified again. And don't forget, this height here, I can remove it or I can also what? Leave it. So let me remove the height. I want to maintain the default one, the height already prepared here again. And I also 3 plus 3 are giving us 12. And when I return back here now, this is it. So each of this particular column now can now be used for the the proper information. Like first one, this our site here now. Now. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. So this for the for the address. I can copy this address and return to this section here now. Right inside this column here is where the address should be, and that can be paragraph here now. Okay, that is it. And it's the same thing for the second one here now. Since every 3 column, I think make it more faster for me. I copy this. I can. Okay, so the name here is no longer applicable. 2. Okay, 3. Okay, and 4 now. So after the address, the next thing I have is what? Is the email. Email. Yes, email. Okay. So email is follow. Okay. This is for the email. And the phone number follow here. Plus 234 8. Okay. And the last one is social media navigation. Oh, I will need images folder here now. So images. Okay. I need to pick the folder for the images here. So maybe I'll copy some of those images available here now. We might need them. 1, 2, 3, and 4 here now. Maybe we might need the logo and icon later. Okay now, and okay, I'll come back to the product. So back to here and the banner. Okay, back to here now, or I should just leave the folder images. I'll return back to what? To folder I create for the bootstrap here, and I replace it there now. So that is it. So now the next thing I just need to do now is to copy the the code we already use for for the image from this particular folder for social media. We have a deep layout here that have a code for social media, so I can copy it here now. So and remember there is no CSS for that. I copy this and I return back to to my page for the bootstrap. This is where the social media will be. But it will be more better to start putting a comment on each of these sections here now. You get it now? I put comment on each of these sections. Since I already have the social media CSS class, so I can use the class in this particular place again. So by copy this to reduce it, and back to here again and say dot social media. So the rule here can be used to be able to adjust this particular image here now. You get it? So that is it. And but if I don't reduce this image here now, they are going to be too much. So let's say the weight for the image now is going to be 30 pixel, and also the height is going to be 30 what pixel. Okay, and that is it now. And I also save this file. I'm only working on the first page of this particular one. This we are using bootstrap. Can you see now? Good. But one more thing now is in, you can notice that what this section for this address is longer than what we expect, and some here what you can start adjusting them. I can remove one from each of these what the last two column here, and add that extra one to this, extra two to this, as long as they are not more than 12 now. So coming down to what to here again, this one can become what 2, and this can become what 2 again, and this now become what 5 again. So, and when I save this page, so what do we get? Can you see now? That is it. We get it now, and that is exactly what we get here. So with this one now again, that means the first section of this page is done. So I will save this video now, so that the next in the next, when we started again, we can continue from there. Oh God, why is this now?